everyone, and welcome to the Big 2-0. That's episode 20 of the Six-Sided Podcast. As per usual, I'm your host, the Taxman, and I want to kick off this week by giving a quick shout out to all of our new YouTube subscribers. So I'm going to run down the list here real quick. So we have Camille Abdullah, Life on the Trail, Royal Mac Vlogs, King Tay 34, Liam Bibby, Armando Williams, Harry Taco, and Zebra Guy. So thank you all for coming aboard. I know there's a few others, but your profiles are set to private, so I can't give you the shout out as I don't know what your name is. So if you want to rectify that, you can get at me at via direct message or at 6_podcast, and I'll be sure to rectify that at next week's show. Also, I'll be going over all of this at the end of the show like I usually do when I throw in all my social media plugs, as everybody likes to say, as it were. Also, before I get any further, I want to give a shout out to Liney and Siobhan. When you get this far into my episodes, I want to make sure that you did. Oh, and also Evan above. When you guys get up to date here, we'll see if you're actually listening. You can shoot me a text. We'll just have some fun with it. Most of you have no idea what I'm talking about, but those three will know definitely what I'm getting at. So, also want to give a shout out to Kyle from Total Nonstop Impact. He had me on as a guest last week, and it was a ton of fun. If you haven't checked out that show, see why that might be the first and last time I am allowed to be on his program. Funny story, I was just kind of sitting at home. I'd put the girls to bed. My wife had gone to sleep early. She wasn't feeling very well. And Kyle just hit me up on Skype out of the blue, said, hey, you want to hop on? And yeah, kind of went from there. So check out his show. I'll include his handle with the first cut, if you will, of the show this week on Twitter. So check that out. Like I said, it might be the first and last time I'm allowed on his program. But I had a ton of fun anyway. So what up, Kyle? Thanks a lot for having me on again. So with all that being said, why don't we just hop into this week's review of Impact Wrestling. So this week, Impact opens up a little bit differently than normal. Didn't open with the cold open like it has done in a few weeks past. We actually opened with a backstage brawl between the OGs and LAX. And for me, this was a ton of fun. It just continuing that story of how these two teams absolutely hate each other. And I'm not going to lie, there was some dangerous shit in here. Normally, you see these, whatever you want to call them, backstage brawls or whatever, and they're kind of hokey because nobody's really, like, hitting or they're not really trying to injure somebody. Like, you had a homicide put the chair around, was that Ortiz's neck, and put him into a wall. And then, like, that's scary. Like, legitimately, I was like, holy shit, I can't believe you did that. And then you had Hernandez at one point when security came to break it up. He puts one of the security guards up on the shoulders for, I can't think of, the name of his finisher escapes me right now. But anyways, puts him up on the shoulders and throws the guy head first backwards into the wall, and the guy hits the guardrail coming down. Like, just so crazy. It furthers the fact that these two just don't give a fuck. They are ready to just go to war with anyone, anytime, anywhere. So looking forward to where this one goes in the near future, obviously, and the continuation of the story, like I said previous. So we have the actual open of the show. We have a tag team match. The Desi or DC Hit Squad, whichever pronunciation you prefer, versus the Canadian hero Petey Williams and the Bone Soldier Taja Ishimori. And I thought this was a hell of a match, actually. I've never seen Ishimori and Petey Williams team before. I don't know if they have or if this was the first time, but they looked really cohesive in the ring. Like, I really enjoyed just everything in this match, and it was so nice to see the crowd boo the DC Hit Squad. Like, it was a crowd that understands, okay, these guys are the heels, treat them like heels rather than do the whole cool thing and, oh, it's cool to boo or cheer the bad guys and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So I thought that was really good. The crowd was really getting on them when they were getting the heat on Petey Williams in the corner, which I thought was fantastic. But we ended up having Petey Williams and Taja Ishimori pick up the win after a Canadian Destroyer and Taja Ishimori just putting the boots to Garcinder Singh in the middle of the ring for the 1-2-3 pin in the win, and so that ends the Desi Hit Squad, or DC Hit Squads, again, whatever way you pronounce it, kind of run there. They had gone undefeated quite a few times, and you see Gama Singh on the outside after, kind of berating them, so I'm curious to see what kind of punishment they're going to get later. Sorry, Don Callis had alluded to maybe they're going to do 5,000 push-ups right here in front of us, so just furthering that story of Gama Singh kind of working these guys up into that heel tag team to kind of push for the tag titles. And like I said, just this match in general was just really, really good. All the action was kept in the ring, which is also a nice treat when you have 4 guys of this caliber that can work really well. It's nice to be able to see everything going on, all the nuances throughout the match going on in the ring. And yeah, like I said, I thought it was a fantastic way to start the show off this week. Our second match of the evening is a knockouts match. We have Tessa Blanchard versus the returning Alicia. And I thought Alicia actually looked pretty good for considering I haven't seen her work. Honestly, I'm going to say since the Eddie Edwards, Davey Richards, kind of whatever you want to say, that whole war was when they had the mixed tag match. And I want to say that was Bound for Glory 17. Don't quote me on that. If I got it wrong, I apologize. But I'm pretty sure that's the last time I saw her work. But anyways, it was nice to see her back in the ring. I thought she held her own against Tessa, but man, Tessa is just such an incredible, like, she is legitimately a generational talent. The way that she carries herself in the ring, but more than that, the way that she carries her other opponent in the ring. She sells, her facials are tremendous, the way she executes moves, just she makes everything look so flawless, both for her and for her opponent. And did you guys see that gorilla press slam? Like shades of China, that was incredible. Just what's more impressive about that for myself, just watching her face with it, how incredibly effortless it looked for her to hoist Alicia up and slam her down. Just really incredible. This match, like I said, was a really nice showcase for Alicia coming back, but even more so just showing Tessa's dark side. The fact that she has no quit, she has no remorse, she has no guilt. She will just come at you and come at you and come at you. And Alicia had made the mistake in the match when she had Tessa kind of injured. Tessa run into the ropes, into the steel cables, as Don Callis would say. Kind of buggered her shoulder up, and she was down for a little bit. Alicia was unable to capitalize, and you ended up having Tessa pick up the win with that brutal hammerlock DDT. And I've seen a lot of people do that move over the years. Obviously, the most notable was CM Punk, but for my money, she delivers that move like so effortlessly, and just like, to me, when she clamps that thing on, it looks like she can do it at any point in the match. Like she looks so automatic with it. It's incredible, and I really hope that this is one of those finishers where nobody kicks out of, or if they do it, it's like a once in a lifetime thing. Do you know what I'm saying? Like kind of like the One Wing Angel from Kenny Omega, or the Rainmaker from Okada, or if somebody kicks out, it's because maybe, you know, she wasn't able to get all of it, she's tired in a match or whatever like that. But I really, really, really hope that this is one of those finishers that stays a finisher when that thing is hit, and it's like, you know that's the match, that's curtains. So, like I said, Tessa picks up the win, hops on the stick after, and essentially calls out Aries, saying she knows exactly what she's about. And if Ali's going after the Knockouts title, then Tessa's coming after Ali. Just a tremendous after the match promo. And I'd said this on Kyle's show last week, how I love when they get Tessa right after a match in the back and she cuts a promo. This was as good or better, because it's in the ring after the match and she's still sweating, and you can see the determination on her face and everything. Just so well done. I think Tessa is probably the best knockout they have in that division, bar none. And is it weird to think that she doesn't need the title to be the best? Like, you don't need to put the title on Tessa for everybody to know that Tessa's the best. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Maybe you agree, maybe you disagree. I know that everybody wants to see her with the title. I just don't think that she needs it, whereas some other people do. Once again, that's just my personal opinion on it. Now, after a couple of backstage Scarlett Bordeaux promos, and I know there's been a lot of heat on her for the character that she's portraying and whatever. I want to see her wrestle. I'm not saying a damn word about her one way or the other until I see her in the ring, to be quite honest, because I feel like people are mad about the gimmick or whatever for the wrong reason, and I'm gonna get into that maybe one day, but right now is not the time. Just I want to see her work in the ring before I say if I like the gimmick or not just yet. So obviously most of you, if you've been listening to me since day one, you know why that is, but yeah, I'm just gonna kind of leave that one at that. But after all those, our next matchup was a singles match. We had Matt Sidell versus Pentagon Jr., and I thought this was a fantastic match. Just once again, Pentagon is just so over, and he knows how to work the crowd so well. He's quite a bit bigger, actually, than Matt Sidell, and I didn't really realize it until they were in the ring with each other here tonight. Just, I'm so impressed the way that Pentagon Jr. moves, the way that he works in the ring, the moveset that he's able to do. A guy his size just flies like he's my weight, maybe not height, but you know what I'm saying, right? Like it's a treat to watch, and honestly, he just brings it. I don't think I've seen a bad Pentagon Jr. match, not just here in Impact, but in general. I've seen a couple of his other ones on YouTube or whatever, but anyways, this match was no different. Just these two honestly worked to beat the hell of each other, and you could tell. Right, you had Zero Fear versus the Third Eye. You had Pentagon Jr. just with the crazy slaps and trying to intimidate Matt Sidell, being the bigger guy, and Matt Sidell, countering with the he's not afraid. And I love how the crowd got on Matt Sidell for that one as well, and saying like you can't beat him or you're afraid or whatever. Like it was just once again, a crowd can turn a good match great and just elevate everything when they get involved in a proper way, not trying to hijack the show or any nonsense like that. But like I said, this was a fantastic match. Pentagon ends up getting the win with the Zero Fear driver, I believe that's what it's called. Just puts Matt Sidell away. That's after, it should be noted, that Matt Sidell tried for the shooting star press, and once again, this time he was hit by knees. He didn't botch it like he did in the Brian Cage match per se at Slammiversary, but Don Callis made the mention that he is now 0 for 2 trying to go for the shooting star press, so we'll see if he kind of reevaluates his moveset going forward. But like I said, Pentagon Jr. picks up the win. This was a great match. Both guys look really good. And for me, you're starting to see more of that coming out party for Matt Sidell, kind of getting away from wrestling the smaller X Division guys. He was always kind of typecast as that before. Now he can start working more of the bigger guys going into the heavyweights. And he held his own in this Pentagon match, and I'm curious to see him in a match with, let's say, Eddie Edwards, or a match with Moose, or a match with, you go on down the line. KM even would be an interesting one just because of the size mismatch. But yeah, like I said, I really think that this is a coming out party for Matt Sidell, and what can I say about Pentagon Jr., man? He's so good, and the crowd is so over with him. It's awesome to see. Just two guys that are superstars currently in Impact Wrestling. Just great to see. Now, lastly, in our main event of the evening, we have Eddie Edwards challenging Austin Aries for the heavyweight title, and this match was tremendous. And this follows, like I said last week, this run of like 6, 8, 9 weeks in a row of just tremendous main event matches on Impact Wrestling. This was such a different main event than we've seen in the past few weeks, because a lot of it has been the, either a high-flying X Division or the Lucha style tag team matches, or, the crazy brawls or whatever. This was strictly a wrestling match, and Eddie Edwards again proves that, like, when he's actually wrestling rather than doing all the hardcore stuff, he's one of the best in the world, tactically and technically speaking, in the wrestling ring. He's so good. The way that he executes all these power slams and everything, he's so good. I can't get over it, and it's been missing for a while because, like I said, he's been involved in a lot of the brawling and a lot of the hardcore stuff and whatever. So you kind of forget just how impressive he is in the ring. And for me, Austin Aries is the perfect kind of opponent because he can sell everything, because he feeds in everything so well, and just he plays that, like, you know, running scared kind of champion sometimes. It just makes for such a great match, and that's what I thought this was. I thought this match was tremendous. We had the ref go down, and Eddie Edwards grabs the kendo stick and smashes the ref with it, which back in my day, not that I'm old or anything, but that qualifies as a DQ, but it didn't in this case. And when he hit the ref with the kendo stick, I was like, holy shit, like at home, because these are things you don't see every day in a lot of other promotions, right? Yes, you see an exorbitant amount of referee bumps and all that kind of stuff, but you don't necessarily see the wrestler targeting a ref out of malice, and that's exactly what you saw here. The ref was down, didn't get Eddie's 3 count when he planted Austin Aries, rolled him up for the pin. The crowd counted till like 6 or 7 or something, and that was the genesis of that. But just something you don't see every day, and something, once again, different that Impact brings that other companies are either shy away from or have forgotten how to do, and something that generates just a great reaction from the crowd. And the crowd in this match was fantastic. How many "This is awesome" or "Impact Wrestling" or Eddie Edwards chants did we get? But really, really good. And the end of the match, we had Killer Kross come in and interfere in the match. Just does a Doomsday Saito slam, destroys Eddie Edwards, allowing Austin Aries to hit the brainbuster with the ref coming to get the pin and the win and retain his title. So I'm curious to see what the relationship is between Killer Kross and Austin Aries. Is he the hired gun? Is he, you know, just a sociopath and he's connecting with Austin Aries on some kind of level? Just, again, and I said it on Kyle's show, I said it on my show as well last week. Every single week, Impact Wrestling, with the main event and with the end of the show, they always leave you with a talking point, and this week was no different. So I don't know about you guys, but I am over the moon to see this latest development with Killer Kross, because I thought he's been a tremendous character that they've brought in here, and I really do want to see where they go with him moving forward with Austin Aries. And I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but could you imagine Killer Kross and Austin Aries one day for the world title? My God. But I digress a little bit. So all in all, this episode I thought was better than last week's. Obviously, it wasn't reflective in the U.S. ratings numbers, whatever you want to say. I'll get into that one day. Again, right now is not really the best time for it, but just once again, Impact knocks it out of the park, delivering a main event, which is a main event match, period. It's so well done. The quality is there. Just, what can you say? And one final note, because I didn't touch on it, but the LAX and OGs segment, if you did miss it, go and watch it or catch it on YouTube or whatever. If you want to see how over LAX is, watch this segment and watch the fire between Conan and Kingston on the mic is money, and I can't wait for the street fight. I believe that's next week. So, like I said, great episode of Impact Wrestling, and once again, opening up more stories as we move forward in the weeks and months to come. Just really great stuff. So before I get out here for the night, I just want to say a reminder, if you haven't checked out the promo clip I did for the brand new show that's going to be debuting in less than a week's time, TNA Impact in Reverse, make sure you check that out on YouTube. It just helps me out quite a bit to kind of get the word out. Make sure you tell all your friends, as they say. I assume that as wrestling fans, we all have friends and we can all kind of help each other out. That's why I kind of like getting on shows like Kyle's show and having all the guests that I have on my program. Just everybody kind of helping out everybody just makes it all just a better place, as it were. And that's kind of why I always say my little spiel at the end of each show. Also want to give a shout out to my boy Robert on his 2-year anniversary show. Make sure you go check that out. I'm going to include his tag as well with the first tweet that goes out in relation to this week's episode. And want to say a quick what up as well to all the WrestlingWithWrestling.com family. Make sure you check out www.WrestlingWithWrestling.com for all your wrestling related interviews, news, and others. Chuck P just released the Hulk Hogan True Untold Story. Make sure you go check that out on YouTube as well. As usual, you can find us on Twitter at 6_podcast. You can throw us in your wonderful YouTube machine, or just go to youtube.com/c/six-sided podcast. There you'll see all the videos like the aforementioned one with the promo for the new TNA Impact and Reverse show that'll be coming out in less than a week's time. Also now I'm also... I don't know why I said so many alsos, but I'm very pleased to announce you can also find us right now on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and I'm working on iTunes. I'm having a problem with iTunes right now, but anyways, you can find us on those platforms as well, or you can simply check out my Audio Boom link, which I will also include as well with the first tweet of this week's show. So, for myself, the Taxman, for everybody that I talked about previously, and to all of you, I say, as usual, take care of yourselves and each other. Good night, everyone.